Mistfall Hunter is a dark fantasy extraction RPG developed by Bellring Games. The world is built around a really interesting concept. Gods went to war, they all died, and their blood became a toxic supernatural mist called the Gildan Mist that now corrupts everything it touches. You play as a guild hunter, a resurrected hero sent into this broken world to fight, loot, and extract back to safety before something kills you. The game has 5 classes: Mercenary, Sorcerer, Black Arrow, Shadow Strix, and Seer, and each one plays completely differently. Combat uses a precision aiming system where you can chain combos and hit enemy weak points. You can go solo or bring a team of 3. The loop is simple. Get in, grab as much as you can, get out alive. What separates this from other extraction games is the combat quality. It feels genuinely Souls-like, responsive, weighty, and rewarding. The energy exhaustion mechanic from earlier betas has been completely removed, so combat now flows much more naturally. A free Beta 4 test is happening June 15th during Steam Next Fest before the July launch. PS5, Xbox, and PC all launch simultaneously. Definitely worth wishlisting right now.
World of Warcraft Midnight is the 11th expansion for WoW and the second chapter of the World Soul Saga. It launched on March 2nd, 2026, and it picks up directly from where the War Within ended. Xal'atath, the Harbinger of the Void, has turned on Azeroth and is now attacking the Sunwell in Quel'Thalas, the most powerful source of light energy on the planet. Both Horde and Alliance head to Blood Elf territory to stop her. The expansion introduces 4 zones: Eversun Woods, Zulaman, Harandar, and the Voidstorm. Silvermoon City has been completely rebuilt from scratch and works as a shared hub for both factions. There's a new allied race called the Haranar. Demon Hunters get a brand new 3rd specialization called the Devourer, and player housing is fully launching with this expansion. You can build and decorate your own home in Azeroth. Content-wise, you're looking at 8 new dungeons, 9 raid bosses across 3 raids, 10 new delves, and a new outdoor hunting system called Prey, where powerful enemies track you back. Level cap increases to 90 with expanded talent trees. Whether you're a returning player or completely new, Midnight is genuinely a great starting point.
The John Wick game was revealed during the February 2026 PlayStation State of Play, developed by Saber Interactive. It is still officially untitled, which is unusual for a project this high profile, but suggests the team is being careful about getting everything right before committing to a name. Saber Interactive has a solid track record with intense action games, and the John Wick franchise gives them an incredibly strong foundation to work with. The movies built their reputation entirely on close quarters combat, gun-fu, improvised weapons, environmental kills, and that relentless forward momentum where John never stops moving, and every enemy is handled with brutal efficiency. The gameplay shown in the reveal trailer captures that feeling accurately. Rooms are treated like puzzles where positioning and weapon choice matter. Every object in the environment is a potential tool. The combat is fast, deliberate, and visceral in exactly the way the films are. No specific release date has been confirmed beyond 2026. The game is targeting PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC. Given how well-defined the John Wick combat identity is, Saber Interactive has a very clear creative direction to follow. The potential here is genuinely high, and this could easily end up being one of the most talked about releases of the year when it finally drops.
Operation Silent Hunt is Year 11 Season 1 for Rainbow Six Siege, and it launched on March 3rd, 2026. The headline edition is Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid as a fully playable attacker-operator, voiced by David Hayter, the original voice actor for the character. Snake's primary gadget is a handheld radar with 2 modes. Standard mode gives you a general threat reading, showing whether your floor is clear, watched, or has enemies nearby. Precision mode goes further and shows the exact position and facing direction of every defender on your current floor. It's the most powerful reconnaissance tool in the game, and smart defenders will immediately reposition once they realize you're using it, which creates interesting counterplay. Beyond Snake himself, the season includes a limited-time 4v4 infiltration mode set on a redesigned Nighthaven Labs map built to feel like a classic Metal Gear Solid location. Sam Fisher, already in the game as Zero, teams up with Snake in this mode. There are also exclusive skins, including Jackal as Gray Fox and Ash as Meryl. Snake is a permanent operator and will always be available to unlock after March 3rd. Only the Battle Pass cosmetics and event skins are time-limited. For both MGS fans and Siege players, this season is genuinely special. Styx Blades of
Greed is the third game in the Stick series developed by Cyanide Studio, releasing after 9 years since the last entry. PC Gamer called it the best stealth game in years after launch, and having looked at it closely, that's not an exaggeration. You play as Styx, a goblin assassin who survives entirely through stealth, poison, and clever use of his supernatural abilities. Direct combat is a losing option. You're small, outnumbered, and fragile. The satisfaction comes from outsmarting rooms full of guards without ever being seen. The biggest change in this entry is the move from traditional linear levels to 3 massive semi-open world maps: the Wall, Turquoise Dawn, and the ruins of Akenach. These environments are incredibly vertical, and Styx now has a grappling claw, a glider, and wall climbing claws to navigate them. New quartz powers include mind control and time shifting. The greed system is a smart new addition. The more loot you carry, the louder and slower you become. It creates constant risk versus reward decisions throughout every mission. The game also connects to the origin story of the Great War between orcs, humans, and elves, giving it real narrative weight. If stealth games are your thing, this is essential.
Nioh 3 Legacy was developed by Team Ninja and launched February 6, 2026 on PS5 and PC. It became the fastest-selling game in the entire franchise, crossing 1 million copies sold very quickly after launch. The Nioh series sits in the Souls-like genre, but with a very specific identity, built around feudal Japan, supernatural yokai enemies, and an exceptionally deep stance-based combat system. Nioh 3 brings new protagonists, a new story arc set in a different era of Japanese history, new weapon types, expanded yokai abilities, and refined ki pulse mechanics, the stamina management system that sits at the heart of every fight. The stance system is what defines the series. You switch between high, mid, and low stance mid-combat, each with different speed, power, and ki consumption. Learning when to switch, when to be aggressive, and when to hold back is what separates players who struggle from players who dominate. It takes time to click, but when it does, the combat feels better than almost anything else in the genre. The game is PS5 and PC only for now, no Xbox version. If you enjoyed Dark Souls, Sekiro, or the previous Nioh games, this is a day one purchase. If you're new to the series, expect a challenging start that becomes deeply rewarding.
Docked is still in development, and detailed information is limited, but what has surfaced is genuinely interesting. From the glimpses of gameplay and world design that have been shown, it appears to be something quite different from the mainstream releases surrounding it in 2026. In a year that is heavily dominated by sequels, remakes, and established franchise entries, an original concept naturally stands out. The early impressions suggest a game built around a unique mechanical idea that hasn't been done quite this way before, though the full picture won't be clear until more is revealed. The gaming community has taken notice, despite the limited information, which itself says something. Games that generate genuine curiosity before showing their full hand often end up being the most memorable ones. 2026 already has so many high-profile titles competing for attention that something quietly original could easily become the surprise of the year. There is no confirmed release date yet, but it is targeting 2026. As more details come out, the picture will become much clearer. Keep it on your radar and check back when new information drops. This one has the feel of a game that rewards paying attention early.
Kingdom Come: Deliverance originally launched in 2018 on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. On February 13, 2026, it finally arrived on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, meaning millions of current-gen players can experience it for the first time. With the sequel, KCD2, having sold over 5 million copies in 2025 and winning enormous praise, this is the perfect time to go back to where it all started. The game is set in 15th century Bohemia, present-day Czech Republic, during a real historical civil war. You play as Henry, a blacksmith's son whose parents are killed when his village is attacked. There is no magic, no fantasy elements, no chosen one narrative, just a young man trying to survive and find justice in a brutal medieval world. Everything in the game is grounded in historical accuracy. You need to eat, sleep, and maintain your hygiene. Weapons and armor degrade and need repair. Combat is physics-based. Different weapons require different techniques, and fights are slow, deliberate, and punishing until you genuinely learn the system. Lockpicking, alchemy, pickpocketing, all are skill-based mechanics you improve through actual practice. It's one of the most immersive RPGs ever made, and now finally accessible to PS5 and Xbox Series players.
Reloaded is developed by South African studio Nyamako, and it launched February 10th, 2026. The concept is genuinely unlike anything else in gaming right now.
The story is set in 2099. World governments signed a treaty called the Transatlantic Returns Treaty to return stolen African cultural artifacts from Western museums back to Africa. But museums found a loophole. Only publicly displayed items needed to be returned, so they quietly moved thousands of artifacts into private storage. Your response is to heist them back. You play as Nomali, who builds a crew of everyday citizens from across Africa: Nigeria, Angola, Malawi, Ethiopia, Kenya, each with specialized skills. Every mission runs through 3 phases: scoping the location, executing the heist, and escaping. Planning is strategic and requires thought. Execution is fast-paced parkour and puzzle solving. The escape sequences are tense and unpredictable. The artifacts in the game are real historical objects: the Cameroonian Bangwa Queen, the Ghanaian Asante gold mask, and the game treats them with genuine respect and cultural context. The soundtrack blends modern synthesizers with traditional African instruments. It's currently on Xbox Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, there's no reason not to try it. IGN and GameSpot both highlighted it as one of the freshest games they'd seen.
That's all 10 games. Drop a comment below telling me which one you're most interested in. If this was helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more gaming coverage. See you in the next video.